Hi, my name's Steve Barrett. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of PRWeek, and I'm here with Andy Weitz, who's the new US President and CEO of Hill+Knowlton Strategies, one of the WPP PR shops. Andy, welcome, and congrats on the new role. You've been doing that for 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. So what's been the first order of business for you in those 5 weeks?
Well, as you can imagine, we've spent a lot of time visiting all of our offices around the U.S., and as a byproduct of that, getting to spend a lot of time with our clients. And as I always do, I've been spending a lot of time in new business pitches. So it's been time well spent over the last month. We feel really good about our momentum going into the second half of the year.
Yeah, and for people who didn't know what you were doing before, just where did you come from within the Hill+Knowlton empire, and how long have you been there? What's your background?
Sure, I've been with Hill+Knowlton Strategies for a little over 5 years. Played the Chief Operating Officer role here in the U.S. region before moving into the Global Corporate Advisory Practice role, which is the role I played just subsequent to taking on the U.S. President and CEO title.
Okay. So obviously you came into that role on the departure of Dan Bartlett,
mm-hmm.
who went off to Walmart, a job, probably one of the biggest jobs in PR, if not the biggest. So I guess it was disappointing for Dan to leave the firm, but how are you positioning that? Is that just a case of sometimes jobs come up that you can't really turn down?
Well, Dan and I came into the organization about the same time, just about 5 years ago, and together we built the strategy that we're executing today. First in that role as Chief Operating Officer, and then in the Global Corporate Advisory role, which obviously informs a lot of our strategy. So we look at it as a win-win. We're really happy for Dan. It's a great opportunity for him and his family. Personally, it's a great opportunity for me to take the stage and really help our strategy evolve and execute against the vision we built together. And fundamentally, at H&K, we don't view any one person as irreplaceable.
Are you jealous about the opportunity to live in Arkansas?
Well, as a Nebraskan, I think it's a great place to live. The Midwest is a beautiful place to come from, and I wish them all the best.
Okay. So I was talking to Sir Martin Sorrell the other week in
mm-hmm.
Cannes, and he was obviously, I asked him about the performance of the WPP agencies, because there's no sort of getting away from the fact that it's been a bit disappointing. So in Q1 this year, revenues were down 4% overall. Obviously you don't split out with how each shop is doing, and WPP's other firms include Burson Marsteller, Cohen & Wolf, etc. So how is it going now, and how are you going to turn that around? Because I can imagine Sir Martin's not going to be particularly happy with that sort of performance moving forward, and it's got to improve, hasn't it?
Well, I think you've covered the WPP landscape. I'd say at H&K we feel really good about the momentum we have. Had a good first half. We feel good about where we're headed in the second half. And if you look at the level of investment we're seeing from WPP, there was a recent announcement around a new global healthcare practice leader, David Bowen, who will be based in DC. We think that gives us a great kind of perspective around public policy and healthcare, and on the heels of the healthcare legislation, where we're headed on that front, which is relevant to that industry, but to almost all of our clients as well. If you look at the acquisition we announced last week with Group SJR, very exciting addition to both our integrated marketing and digital capabilities. 50 plus folks, based right here in New York. Mm-hmm. We think that's going to be a great addition. So we're very heartened by the level of investment we continue to see from WPP, and we're also very happy with our results, and hope to see that momentum go forward throughout the rest of the year.
So what's changed then? Because last year was also relatively disappointing. What's changed in that time?
Well, I think we're at a point where there's no question we have momentum. We're 2.5 years out from the merger of Public Strategies and Hill+Knowlton. We think we've changed a bit of how we're positioned as a firm. We think we have a lot of fresh talent in the door that has a really good sense of where we're trying to head, and it's coming together. And so from an execution perspective, we feel very good about our capabilities, and I think it's time for us to send a signal to the market that we are, no question, a firm with a rich legacy and heritage that has never actually been more relevant than today. We think we have a lot to offer to the market, and we look forward to raising our profile on that front.
So does Jack Martin see that as on schedule, in 2.5 years, to the sort of change around of the business that was put in place there, more of an emphasis on corporate or DC-based stuff and data and those sort of things?
Well, I think both Sir Martin and Jack, as do I, have high expectations for the firm. And so I think while we're in a good place now, we always want to be doing better. We expect a strong finish to 2013 and have high expectations for 2014. I think what we're most satisfied and excited by is the type of talent we have at the firm today. What we think we have to do as a firm is do a little bit better job of packaging that up, that wrapper that sends the signal to the market that H&K is a firm that should be at the table in that consideration set for the largest, most daunting, challenging communication opportunities and challenges that our clients have. And so we feel good about where we're at. We feel like the market is beginning to take notice, and we look forward to a strong 2013.
So clearly the merger sort of moved the focus slightly away from New York down to Texas. What do you say to those who say that you can't have a global, big global network without a very serious $50 million plus New York office?
Well, I think that's what we're rebuilding as we speak, and we've made tremendous strides under Ian Bailey, our New York general manager. I think we're on the right path. I think in terms of focus, we go where the clients need us. We have a large and growing client base here in New York. Fundamentally, all of our people are wherever the client wants us to be. I'm in New York every week, so in terms of a change of focus, I don't really think that resonates. I think we need to be doing what our clients need us to do, wherever that may be in that moment.
Okay, so finally, if we're sitting here in 12 months, what would you have liked to have achieved? What's your sort of goals for that time?
Well, obviously we have financial goals for ourselves. Those are set by WPP. You referred to that, and they're ambitious, and we want to live up to those expectations. We also have qualitative goals. Kind of, again, I've talked a lot about signals to the marketplace and how we're perceived. We want to be recognized for our great work. We think we do great work, and maybe we haven't done as good a job as we could have in the past at getting credit for that, and really raising our head up and talking about what we're building and how we're delivering for clients. So we'd be really heartened to see some of that recognition over the next year in the form of accolades from the likes of you and others, and we think we can deliver on that expectation.
Okay, well, we wish you luck with that, and look forward to catching up with you in 12 months.
Thank you.
Cheers, Andy.